Here at home, the final tally of the presidential election is in. Nevada and Arizona were called for Trump over the weekend, giving him all 7 battleground states. The total of 312 electoral votes is more than his 2016 win. Democrats are fighting over who's to blame for their decisive defeat. Former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi telling the New York Times that if President Biden had stepped out of the race sooner, more candidates might have jumped in to create an open primary. Others, like California Representative Ro Khanna, say the Harris team failed to address the concerns of everyday Americans.
Anyone who's saying now this was not a winnable campaign didn't say that back in August. The reason we didn't win ultimately is we didn't listen enough to people on the ground, people like Chris Deluzio, Pat Ryan, who were saying, talk about the economy, talk about people's economic struggles, convince people you have the better policies and better vision.
Meanwhile, President-elect Trump is working his transition, announcing Sunday that that Tom Homan will serve as border czar and oversee the plan to deport immigrants who enter the United States illegally. Homan served as acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Trump's first term. In addition, New York Representative Elise Stefanik has been tapped to serve as ambassador to the United Nations. Trump also announced 2 people who won't be serving in his administration, posting on social media that Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo won't be asked to join his team. Both served in his first administration, Haley as ambassador to the UN and Pompeo as Secretary of State. Haley strongly criticized her former boss when she ran against him in the Republican primaries. Well, confirming President Trump's cabinet will be the first priority of the new Republican Senate. The GOP took control from the Democrats with a current 53 seats. This week, they're moving to decide leadership. After 17 years, GOP Senate leader Mitch McConnell is stepping down as head of the Senate Republican Conference. A vote on his replacement is scheduled for Wednesday. Senators John Cornyn of Texas, John Thune of South Dakota, and Rick Scott of Florida are vying for the position. Wyoming Senator John Barrasso is expected to take the number 2 slot as Majority Whip. On NBC's Meet the Press Sunday, Barrasso said the Senate will move swiftly to approve Trump's nominees.
He met huge resistance in 2016 and when he was inaugurated in 2017 with getting his cabinet in place. What I'm hoping is that as a result of this huge landslide victory, that we get a little more cooperation from the Democrats in helping President Trump get that cabinet in place for day one.
Trump has demanded that all candidates for Senate leader must agree to recess appointments. The temporary measure allows the president to directly appoint nominees when Congress is not in session. Well, also on Wednesday, the sitting and incoming presidents will meet in the Oval Office. Mr. Biden extended the invitation and is expected to lobby Mr. Trump to stand by Ukraine in its defense against Russia. Since the February 2020 invasion, Congress has passed 5 spending bills totaling $175 billion in military and other aid to Ukraine. Trump has said he'll end the war immediately. Some believe that means allowing Russia to keep territory it's taken from Ukraine. In a recent conversation with Russia's Vladimir Putin, Trump reportedly told him, quote, not to escalate the war and that he wants to discuss its resolution. This amid reports that 50,000 Russian and North Korean troops are preparing for a counter-invasion to retake Russian territory held by Ukraine. Gordon?
Well, I hope this war ends quickly, and I hope for the sake of all the citizens of Ukraine, all the citizens of Russia, this war has gone on far too long, and it would be wonderful to see it end. But if it ends with some kind of concession to Russia, I think it's a mistake of monumental proportions because you're just emboldening Putin. He has dreams of restoring the Soviet Union, and that means all of Ukraine. That means all of the stands along the Silk Road. He wants to do that. He's said it repeatedly, and we ought to believe him. In this war, he thought he could win it really quickly, and I think even our own Foreign Service and our own intelligence services thought he could too. Ukraine proved to be decidedly superior on the battlefield, and he's had to have North Korean troops come in to help him out. But this needs to be resolved and resolved quickly, especially for the sake of every single Ukrainian. They've been living under this far too long.